I was lucky enough to go to the Nothing phone launch event and get some hands-on time with what is arguably one of the most exciting phones of the year. So here are my first impressions. So the design. This is clearly where Nothing wanted to set themselves apart from other phone companies. Instead of having just a generic blob of glass, they're actually doing something interesting, especially with the back. You've probably seen it now, but the iconic design element is the glyph interface on this phone. It's basically a series of LEDs that light up for notifications if you're getting a call. You can even use it as a fill light for video. And I think the possibilities for this are endless if third parties get access to this. Is it a gimmick? Well, I'm not sure yet, but the LEDs were just a splash of fun, and it's not something we see very often. If you flip over the phone, you have a nice big display. But it's also high refresh rate, which is not something you really see at this price point. The high refresh rate display just makes using a phone a pleasure to use. It's one of those things that, once you've tried it, it's very, very hard to go back to a slower screen. It just makes scrolling through apps a joy, and it just makes the whole interface fly. Another neat touch that Nothing has added to the screen is that the bezels are uniform around the whole screen. It sounds like such a small thing, but most Android phones will have a little bit of a chin at the bottom, and it just breaks the symmetry. As for software, I didn't get that much time to use it, but from the little time I did have, it was clean, simple, and fast. No bloatware in sight. I'm looking at you, Samsung. The camera is arguably one of the most important parts of a modern day phone. Nothing decided to go with 2 cameras, instead of 3 or 4 that we see other smartphone manufacturers doing, and I'm fully behind it. I don't use all 3 cameras on my iPhone. In fact, I use the main camera 90% of the time, and then the ultra-wide the rest of the time. Don't really use the zoom. So, in my eyes, it makes perfect sense to put 2 really good cameras in the phone, instead of a few mediocre ones. The Nothing phone comes with a mid-range Snapdragon chip, and a lot of people are upset that it's not the latest and greatest flagship processor. But I think Nothing has made the right choice here. Not only are mid-range processors actually very capable, but they'll also give the ability to eke out a little bit more battery out of the phone as well. And for most people, unless you're gaming on your phone consistently, you won't see the benefits of a more powerful chip. The Nothing phone comes at a very reasonable £399, and it's available to pre-order right now. And it will be available from July 21st. So those are my first impressions of the Nothing phone. And I really like it. I think it's trying to do something different, with a larger focus on experience over specs. And I think that's the right way to go. It's quite interesting because it seems to be the opposite approach of OnePlus. OnePlus was giving you the best specs at the best possible price, whereas Nothing seems to be a balancing act, a balance between the best experience and also still good specifications. What are your impressions of the Nothing phone? Please let me know in the comments below. And until then, I'll see you next time.